There are people out there that just don't have empathy and compassion. What role are they playing?
They are not people.
I beg your pardon?
They are not people in the sense that you are using the term. They have left their soul. Their soul has left their body.
Okay.
So they're just a mechanism acting reactively to waves of energy that have, some call it possessed, but they have just become empty vessels. If you're not putting the light in your body, if you clean your soul out of your body and don't keep your light there, waves of energy encapsulate it and utilize it, and that is what those completely devoid of empathy are. Sometimes they will return to their bodies by choice, but many times they will never return.
Okay. Thank you. Can you talk a bit about boundaries and compassion? Haylie's often confused about, how to show love and also have firm boundaries.
We would seek a bit of understanding about the meaning of the term boundaries. And we know that you, Lori, would not be able to interpret for Haylie, so we're going to give us one moment to seek this within her.
Sure.
She's explaining to us. We'll ask her to share her dialogue, Haylie, so we step aside for you to speak. By boundaries, I just mean how do you keep your resonance from becoming like theirs, I guess, or how do you not become overcome by who they are. For example, my dad's real negative, and when I go around him I'm just drained, so how can I keep that from happening? We are back. Yes, so this is not about boundaries. Boundaries is a very limited word for description, although we honor so much the showing up and using whatever phraseology is necessary to convey what is initiating this conversation. But we would clarify this term boundaries. Boundaries, in fact, is more the idea of how do you hold clear to the divine resonance. We're going to use the term Holy Ghost because Haylie has become reintroduced to it, but it's this idea that within you is living a bit of the divine. In fact, you are the divine, and that is a way to understand yourself. And this is a question about how to maintain that knowing. Mm-hmm. Do you see what we say here? Mm-hmm. You don't lose your boundaries. You forget who you are. You forget who you are because these people, other people, when they quote unquote cross your boundaries, they're just telling you their story, and you are becoming more of their story. You're buying into their story or their understanding of who they are. Mm-hmm. And it's about knowing. It's about knowing that they can tell their stories as they want, and those stories have no influence on the truth of your divine nature. And this connects to Haylie's discomfort previously when she had a session, and she showed up and felt very uncomfortable because she was not in full knowing of her divine nature. Is this wrong? No. But see, that's not a boundary, because that would be a boundary within yourself. And that is separation, right? So within yourselves, you can even contain this idea of less knowing, less clarity. So we would encourage you not to think in this new age about pushing people away with boundaries, but about, again, solidifying and clarifying your own knowledge, knowing. And knowledge and knowing, forgive us, this is the wrong term. Knowledge is a term we see in your understanding is about information. Mm-hmm. But knowing is about being in presence. And let us search for a way. A light that is lit. Yes, a candle that is burning doesn't know. It just is. Mm-hmm. And this is the idea that is more descriptive to understand than boundaries. To just simply be shining in your highest light, and you won't need to push anyone away into darkness.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
We have a bit more to say.
Okay.
Let us gather.
Please.
This is on the idea of darkness and light.
Okay.
So our metaphor for darkness is a great one for the human mind to understand, but it doesn't really encapsulate what darkness is. Darkness is about vibration. It is not about lack of light in the sense of color, but it is about lack of the higher vibration. And previously in the human history timeline, the vibration was very slow because it was racing. And what was fine and okay behavior, perhaps 200, 2,000 years ago, now would be a heinous act. And so this explains why you can't cast anything into the category of evil or irreconcilable or unredeemable or bad, because when you were there, it was the highest vibration. But now it is a lower vibration. So the light is on a spectrum, a continuum you are raising through as you journey to a new dimension. And so try not to push anything into a category of evil or bad, but think of it in perspective of where you are now, where you are at now. Things that were okay hundreds of years ago on your human timeline would just not be acceptable in any way. In the same manner, things that you consider commonplace and everyday now would in no way be acceptable in 200 human years. So we just invite you to consider dark and light in this way, and we would ask you and offer you something that you'll need all to consider. It's very important, and we are so grateful to have this space to share this. But previously, things that you did, you say your ancestors did, or their ancestors did, or it was done to us. Do you not know that was you? Do you not know that your souls were there then, and you're here now? You did it. You did it. You did it. Not them or their, and it wasn't about family lines and the genetic line of human beings. Your souls were there experiencing across all different races and cultures and countries and spaces and statuses of people, rich and poor. You were all there learning, and that is why you are here learning. So when you look back, we invite you to have less judgment for the past. You are judging yourself. You'll never move forward with judgment for the past. Have compassion for where you were, like a child learning to walk. We have compassion for you. We had compassion then when we would watch and feel something akin to a broken heart at your actions. While we knew you would raise your souls and grow up, we invite you to learn this equal compassion. Judge less because you judge yourself. Instead, to borrow a saying that Haylie is familiar with, now that you know better, do better. We are done.
And thank you. What if I told you that you have the power to heal yourself, particularly physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Would you like to heal the past and brighten your now and your future using QHHT, a technique developed by Dolores Cannon? Hi, I'm Lori Lines. Visit my website to learn more about QHHT and book a session with me. I'm so looking forward to connecting with you as we discover together transcendence and healing for your highest good.